All right, welcome in everyone to night 2 of our RadioMisfits.com tireless and shameless coverage of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Day 2, as I say, coming to us from a courtroom, a federal courthouse in New York City. Hi, everybody. I am Pugs Moran. I, of course, from the rant every Monday through Friday. Join us for talk radio for normal Americans. That's right. It's not some political crazy partisan thing. No, everyday normal people like you and me, we get together and we talk about the world. Again, not a political talk show. That's every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon, some point in the afternoon. Like, follow, subscribe. Now, in addition to that daily show, talk radio for normal Americans, hosted by yours truly, I have launched Diddy or Didn't He? Oh my God, we love the name. We love the name. We're crazy about it. Diddy or Didn't He, which will be a nightly recap of all the events going on in the Sean Diddy Combs trial right here at RadioMisfits.com. So today's a little bit different. Day 2, yesterday. I hope you enjoyed last night's show. We had a good time putting it together. Last night, I think for the first show, for day 1 of court, I think last night was pretty close to what I hope this show is going to be for what could be the next couple of months. This trial could go 2 months, it could go 3 months, it could go shorter, but we're looking at probably 8 weeks of continuous coverage of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Last night we had from WBAP 93.3 here in Dallas, Texas, afternoon superstar James Parker. We also had superstar in the world of urban radio from, Dish Nation, right? Dish, what else? He's got the whole bunch of this Dish stuff. Head Crack. Urban radio superstar Head Crack was also with us last night. Now, those two guys are going to be joining me from time to time as we cover this case. They're just not going to be able to do that every night. So every so often or every few nights, it's just going to be me and you, and we're going to talk about all of the details that came from this day in court. Now, tomorrow's going to be a hell of a show. And this is why it's probably, today's going to be interesting. Oh, you don't want to go anywhere. Oh, my God. Cassie was on the stand all day today. She ain't holding back. We're going to get into all of that. But she's going to continue her testimony tomorrow. We expect her to wrap her testimony tomorrow. It could go longer, but it'll probably be today and tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're going to have, again, the full boat of pundits here. We'll have Head Crack as well as James Parker and myself. We'll all be together most nights, I think, but then on other nights, there will be shows like this where I'm just going to run you through everything that happened today, because today where there's some real serious details about the freak-offs and the sex parties and all of that stuff. Now, I do want to say something here from the very beginning, okay? And I mentioned this today on my live stream, The Rant, every day, Monday through Friday. Find me. Radio it. Radio Misfits. Google Pugs Moran, Pugs and Company, whatever, you'll find it. Are we all just really enjoying this because it's another situation where some arrogant a-hole celebrity is, being given his what for? Is that what it is? Are we losing sight of what's happening? I mean, there's an actual criminal trial going on. And I think that we're all kind of, here's my question to you. Do you think he's going to be convicted? Because after 2 days, I'm watching this trial. Well, and not watching it. None of us are watching it, unfortunately. Following this trial with every tweet, with every blog. And I don't know that the prosecution seems to be doing an all that great job after 2 days of very interesting witnesses. I don't know that the prosecution is doing a great job of really proving anything other than Sean Combs is a sexual deviant. And I don't know what the prison sentence for being a sexual deviant is. I hope it's not that great, because, there's a lot of pervs out there running around. I mean, there are some very serious charges here, and I'm starting to wonder, did they overcharge this guy? Because a couple of things occurred today that were really shocking to me. Okay, let's start off with how today's trial began. It began with a continuation of yesterday's testimony from male escort and freak-off superstar Daniel Phillip. Daniel Phillip was brought back this morning after all kinds of crazy, interesting testimony on Monday. He was brought in to be cross-examined now, cross-examined by the defense, by Diddy's defense people. And they got him to admit something that I think is a real problem, especially for the prosecution. The prosecution has been trying to make the case that Diddy was a sex trafficker, essentially. He was forcing these people to do these things against their will. We understood that there were all kinds of drugs involved and that, they were not making right decisions. So Daniel Phillip, the sex worker who was hired by Diddy on a number of occasions to participate in these freak-offs. So Daniel Phillips comes in and he's getting cross-examined by the defense. And he admits that he never saw Cassie under the influence of anything during any of these freak-offs. This guy is a witness for the prosecution. And on cross-examination, he basically blows one of the main tenets of the prosecution's case, which is that these people were being given illegal drugs and that they weren't making sound decisions of mind and body. So that's big. That's really big, especially when you consider that following him, the prosecution would then bring up Cassie Ventura, longtime girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, the epicenter of these charges, the star, if you will, of these freak-offs, at least the ones in question here. And Cassie gets up today, and Cassie talks about how, now again, remember, she's a witness for the prosecution. Cassie gets up later that day, that very same day, and she says that all of the freak-offs, she was messed up. All of them. They talked about blue dolphin ecstasy, which is a type of MDMA that apparently Diddy preferred. Blue dolphin ecstasy. So, I mean, here you have two witnesses for the prosecution saying two different things that are a pretty key element to the prosecution's case, that Diddy was taking advantage of these people and that they were doing this against their will. I don't know what to believe. You've got Daniel Phillip, the male escort, who upon cross-examination by Diddy's defense team admits that not only did he never see Cassie taking any drugs, but he added this one last thing. There was one occasion where he says, Daniel Phillip, where he says that Cassie seemed to be a little bit intoxicated. And on that one occasion, Diddy stopped the freak-off. Like, stopped it. Like, didn't want her doing it. Now, this was a guy who was supposed to be a witness for the prosecution who just throws down a whole bunch of really interesting stuff on day one for the prosecution. And then on cross-examination, he basically admits to something that isn't really good. By the way, that whole thing then with Cassie sitting on the stand just an hour or two later talking about blue dolphin MDMA and I was a drug addict who was, forced to be a drug addict by him. It is more compelling to me as somebody who is sitting here trying to judge this by all of the facts as they're presented. It is more compelling to me what that male escort says. Because again, he was testifying on behalf of the prosecution. He was laying out the parameters of the prosecution's case, that he was a paid sex worker, that Diddy Combs was engaging in illegal prostitution. And then on cross-examination and fairly easily, this guy crumbles and is like, yeah, as a matter of fact, let me tell you something about Diddy. One time she was a little fucked up and this dude's a mensch. This dude was like, no, baby, you can't be in the right. I mean, what is that? That ain't good. And Cassie, look, we'll talk about her because there were some very fascinating things. But first, let's talk about what was going on in the courtroom. Okay, so Daniel Phillip, this is the morning portion of today's court case. Daniel Phillip gets cross-examined by the defense team. He leaves, and then I'm not sure if they broke for lunch and then brought Cassie, or maybe they brought Cassie up and then they quickly broke for lunch. I'm not sure. But there were a couple of other interesting things that occurred there in the courtroom. For instance, before any of this all got rolling, there was a motion by the defense team to have Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, banned from the courtroom. We talked about Alex Fine a little bit last night with James Parker and Head Crack on our first edition of Diddy or Didn't He. Alex Fine is a celebrity trainer, and he's also a professional bull rider. And apparently, he's kind of a badass. And Alex Fine is now currently married to Cassie. They have 2 children, another on the way. We'll get to that in a minute. But Alex Fine is there showing up in court for his wife, which, by the way, it can't be easy. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine the woman you love? Because let's see, he loves her. He loves her. And you know what? Probably be easy to love her. She's absolutely beautiful. If she's even the slightest bit sweet and kind, that's a done deal, because look at her. Cassie is like, wow. So he loves her. They've got kids. They've got a life. They've got a family. She hasn't been a part of this whole Diddy thing since she's in her mid-20s. But over the years, apparently there has been some contact between Alex Fine, Cassie's current husband, and Diddy, her former boyfriend. And they haven't been nice, right? So Alex Fine has apparently texted Diddy on numerous occasions, I'm going to kick your ass, this, that, and the other thing. If I ever fucking see you anywhere, that kind of shit. Aggressive, violent shit. Now, I don't know what Diddy responded. I imagine it was something pretty hardcore, but they're not talking about that in court. Diddy's defense team didn't bring up Diddy's responses. But they did bring it to the attention of the judge, and the defense team basically said that we want the husband of Cassie, moral support or not, we want him banned from the courtroom. We want him banned from the courtroom because this man scares our client. This man is violent. The judge, who I'm kind of liking. I like him. I know we're only 2 days in, but we did have a full week last week of him handling the jury selection and keeping this damn thing on schedule, which is probably going to be the most important job that this judge does, is keep this damn thing from spinning out of control. Because whenever you have a high-profile celebrity and a dream team type assortment of attorneys, those guys do whatever they can to drag this nonsense out. So Judge Aram Subramaniam seems to be doing a good job. And in this case, I think he did a good job too, because he found a compromise. The defense team did not want Alex Fine, husband of Cassie Ventura, in the courtroom, wanted him banned. The judge said no. What are you out of your mind? This woman is going through some stuff, and this is her husband. Your husband is going to be allowed to be here. Except here's the compromise. Okay, so when we get to the details of the rape and the beating and all of that stuff, they could be triggering. Then we're going to ask Mr. Fine to leave the courtroom. So there you go. So that's been handled. So Alex Fine, the husband of Cassie Ventura, is allowed to stay. The defense team already pulling some bullshit. Like Diddy's scared of him. Like, we're afraid. All right, so now let's get to Cassie. So Cassie showed up. Boy, oh boy, early on too, right? I mean, she has to be like the most anticipated witness to hear from in this whole thing. And they bring her out on day 2. They even said maybe she was going to show up on day 1. Wow. Again, another tribute to Judge Aram Subramanian. Keeping this thing rolling. I love it. Cassie shows up, and I didn't know this. I didn't know this until last night when I heard about her coming. She's 8 months pregnant. She's 8 months plus pregnant. She is big as a house. She could pop at any moment. She is a pregnant woman taking the stand. Oh, my goodness. Now, why is that important? Pugs, why is that a big deal? Well, because she's a victim. Because she is being presented as the victim of this madman, Sean Diddy Combs, who must go to jail for the rest of his life. And there's going to be a whole lot of stuff about her, details, some stuff we're going to cover here in a couple of minutes. All kinds of details and stuff like that that might make you think of her in a certain way. And she shows up all big and pregnant. I mean, who's mad at a pregnant woman, right? So it's a little bit of a hedge with the jury. The jury's gonna be like, oh, and she's also doing the pregnant lady stuff. And I'm not saying that these are affectations that are being theatrically employed. No, that she's pregnant. So pregnant women are allowed to rub their belly and all that kind of stuff. And, so it's a good optic, I guess, is what you're saying. If you want her to be believable and likable and to win the jury over, having a big, giant pregnant woman, they're rubbing her belly, especially with a jury where there's significant amounts of women on it. That's a good thing. Okay, now, here's the other place this comes in handy. Because sure, what we're hearing from Cassie and some of the details that we're going to go through here in a couple of seconds, what we're hearing from Cassie is all being presented by the prosecution. She is being led on a lot of these questions by the prosecution. The prosecution is trying to establish a timeline. Well, their entire case, they're trying to establish, what these freak-off parties were. And I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're trying to establish. I think somebody said something here. Let me read you this word. I thought this was terrific. I'm not going to tell you who said this. Maybe this person will be a guest on future shows. This person said, I am not seeing the prosecution proving anything. And then he said, this is all one big humiliation ritual. And I can't disagree with that at this point. At this point, that's all I'm seeing is just a great big humiliation ritual. Hey, P. Diddy, he's an asshole and he's made a lot of money and a lot of people don't like him. Let's get his mom in a courtroom and show her pictures of him jerking off in a corner. I don't know that any of this shit is necessarily illegal. And now you've got an escort, again, guy I told you about a few minutes ago. Now you got an escort saying that he never saw any drugs. Why would he lie about that? He was there on behalf of the prosecution. So anyway, a lot of details came out. And Cassie is a pregnant woman. And it's gonna soften, I think, the initial criticism that a woman might naturally receive when you start hearing some of the things that she engaged in. She's a big pregnant woman. Here's also the problem. Prosecution's going to wind that up. They're going to be done. And then the prosecution has to hand it over to the defense team. And just like we saw with the male prostitute this morning, Cassie's going to get cross-examined. Cassie's going to get cross-examined by a bunch of high-powered shark celebrity attorneys. Here's the problem for them, okay? Because they're going to want to destroy her reputation. They're going to want to make her cry. They're going to want to cause her all kinds of angst on the stand. But she's pregnant. How are they going to do that? How is the defense team supposed to try and crack a pregnant woman? Do you know? I don't know how that's going to play to a jury. I think that might be really bad. I think that the defense team, if they do not handle the cross-examination of 8 months pregnant Cassie, if they don't handle it perfectly, it could be over for them. They could lose a huge chunk of that jury just on how they treated that pregnant woman. So, boy, that's going to be interesting to see how that, if it does have any effect at all. So she also, my goodness, I watch her water break right there on the stage. Like some big crazy trial thing could happen. You don't want to pressure a pregnant woman, right? Aren't pregnant women supposed to be, taking it easy? I don't know. It's just going to be a very tricky juggle for the defense team. And, they're going to send that Tenny Garagos, Mark Garagos' daughter. They're not going to have the dude do it. They're not going to have a dude. They're not in the Diddy trial. They're not going to send one of the dude lawyers to basically dismantle the pregnant woman. That's not going to happen. It'll be the woman. It'll be Tenny Garagos. Be interesting to see how she handles cross-examination of Cassie Ventura. Okay, let's get into what we learned today from Cassie Ventura. All right, let's see here. I'm just going to scroll through some notes here that I've taken. My God, I got to tell you, I was a little bit, I complained yesterday about how, I wish this was on TV. Oh, this would be so much better on TV. I'm really enjoying the way that I am following this. Now, of course, it's all online, and I'm following a bunch of different social media accounts that give breaking minute-by-minute accounts of what's happening inside there. I still can't get back. My problem is, and we're going to see some of these, here, we'll see one right now. My big problem that I just cannot seem to get past, and maybe it'll get better. Who knows? Here we go. It's this guy. It's this. He sucks. The courtroom artist. This is the best that we got. By the way, look at that. That's Cassie. That's Cassie being sworn in on the witness stand there. It's got a big giant. They're really saying that she's huge. This courtroom artist is certainly drawing a hugely pregnant woman. So anyway, we need this guy to be better. We really do. Let's see if we get any other pictures, any other examples of his terrible courtroom. No, there's another picture of her there. All right, who's this? Oh, okay. So that's the courtroom artist's rendering of stripper Daniel Phillip. So there you go. Daniel Phillip is a male stripper / escort. Oh, there's the couple in Happier Times, I suppose. She is really such a pretty girl. She is something else. And here's Diddy, right? So again, this guy looks more like Chris Rock. Seriously, this does not look like Diddy to me. Terrible. This guy is terrible. All right. Anyway, we're just going to have to muscle through that. It's going to be absolutely no fun. Let's see here. All right. So Cassie shows up. She's 8 months pregnant. Prosecutor Emily Johnson said that the prosecution would potentially be offering images from videos as early as this afternoon. I don't know. Did they get to the video portion? I don't believe they did. I think that Cassie was still on the stand discussing the details of freak-offs when they adjourned for the day. So maybe tomorrow will be the video day when they'll have to get rid of the gallery and clear the courtroom. That's the other thing that was decided. They decided that when they're going to show porno. They're going to show hardcore sex videos recorded by Diddy from the freak-offs. They're going to show these in not open court, because as I say, they've decided that they are going to clear the courtroom, and the only people that are going to see this stuff is going to be the jury. Videos as early as this afternoon that would show nudity involving multiple people and would depict entirely sexually explicit content. The courtroom gallery will be cleared before any of the images go up. Cassie, whose full name is Cassie Ventura, said that she was with Combs for over 10 years on and off again. And during that time, they got into violent arguments. She testified today on the stand that he would, here's a quote now from her, he would bash me on the head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me on the head. All right, so it's all the stuff. It sounds like what we saw in the video, the horrible Hotel Intercontinental video, hotel lobby video, or elevator, I guess, video. These videos are always surrounding elevators, aren't they? Right? So it's always elevators. The Diddy thing we're talking about here, Diddy and Cassie, elevator. Ray Rice, elevator. Remember when Solange went off on Jay-Z, elevator. All these things are happening in elevators. He would bash me on the head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me on the head if I was down, Ventura said. Too frequently, the fights turned physical. Ventura added, she said, they left me with bruises all over my body. And she got into detailing the freak-off parties. How did they start? So let's go here. All right, guys, you know what? Just buckle up. I'm done. We're going for it. Here we are. From day 2 of the Diddy trial, here are the details on the freak-offs as brought to us by Cassie, the star. Cassie described how Diddy's twisted freak-off sex obsessions or sessions began in the first year of their relationship when she was just 22. Sean proposed to me this idea, this sexual encounter that he called voyeurism, where he would watch me have sexual activity with another man. It basically entails the hiring of an escort and setting up this experience so that I could perform for him. Okay. So that's how they started. He was like, yo, baby, we'll be hot. And she's like, okay. She was going along with it. Right back here, she's 22 years old. She wants to be an R&B superstar, and one of the greatest kingmakers in the business has decided that he's going to make her a personal project, right? So she's going along with it. This is all transactional at this point. Look, I'm just throwing all that out. This is how it started. She didn't say no to the first time. She didn't say no to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. She didn't say no. We got to be fair about this. It basically entails the hiring of an escort and she was down for this. She was down for it. Now, was it something that she would have come up with on her own? Maybe not. But when he proposed it to her, she was down for it. Why? Did it seem scary to her? Maybe, but not so scary that she wasn't willing to do it. Why? Because there was a transactional nature to this relationship. He was a kingmaker, and she wanted to be a queen, so she was willing to go along with it. We cannot lose sight of that stuff. Pretty quickly over time, I knew that this was something that hold on, let me make sure I read this right. Pretty quickly over time, I knew it was something I wanted to be doing, especially as regularly as it became. But again, I was in love and I just wanted to make him happy. Okay. So you made a bad decision. This is troubling. See, this is why I'm not seeing the crime yet. I'm not seeing the crime. She went along willingly. She is saying that it was something that she was okay doing. She even goes on later in her testimony to talk about how she would put them all together. That he would say, I want to have a freak off in 2 weekends. And she would scour Craigslist and she would go on the, whatever sex sites to find male escorts that she wanted to be with. Now, I might be just extrapolating that. That's not what she said, but come on. If she's choosing her sexual partners, Cassie said that even though she didn't want to take part in freak-offs anymore, so at some point she didn't want to participate. Understandable, right? You lose interest in everything. Cassie said that even though she didn't want to take part in freak-offs anymore, she was scared of Combs' reaction because he controlled a lot of her life. All right, so he's her boss, right? He's her boss. He controls her recording schedule. He controls release dates, all of this stuff. He's her boss. This is why you don't fuck your boss. This is why you don't get involved in these kinds of relationship with your boss. When she hooked up with him, certainly she had heard before that you shouldn't get involved with your boss, but she did it anyway because she made the choice that this transactional arrangement might be good for her. Again, all I'm seeing is a guy who, if he douses her with his cane, she can become a superstar. All I'm seeing is that guy using that power, I would say immorally, okay? But I don't know that it's illegally. She was going along with it because she wanted him to make her a star. It basically entailed, okay, here we go. Cassie said that even though she didn't want to be part of it in the freak-offs anymore, she was scared of Combs' reaction because he controlled a lot of my life. Cassie, who started dating him at 22, said Combs controlled what she wore, what career choices she made, everything. And I just didn't feel like I had much say into it at that time. Being super young, naive, a total people pleaser, I didn't know enough if he would be upset to be violent with me if I told him no. Okay, so she's in the entertainment business, okay? She's in the entertainment business, and he's one of the great brand makers of our age. Look at, he's got vodka companies. He's a brand maker. All right. So he's telling her what to wear. He's telling her how to walk, how to talk, how to behave publicly. Again, that is not out of line for what he would be doing. This is not just, some dude who is a postman and his, new girlfriend who's a waitress. This is Sean Diddy Combs and a young woman who is trying to become a star. And he is, on the one hand, her boyfriend. But on the other hand, he's also the guy that she needs to listen to. So when she complains about Sean Diddy Combs telling her what to wear, how to talk, how to walk, how to behave, when she's complaining about that, is she complaining about her boyfriend or is she complaining about her fucking manager? Because that is exactly what a manager does. Cassie told jurors that videos that Sean Diddy Combs recorded of her having sex with male escorts eventually turned into blackmail material that he held over her head. Okay, well, that's something. Can't do that. That's pretty shady, right? I'm recording these videos. You're doing all of these things. She thinks she's doing these things so that, she will please him and that he will, make her a big star or whatever it is. That's why she's doing these things. It's not because she loves him and wants to have babies with him in a house and retire to Connecticut. No, she's with him because she wants him to make her a star. That's her motivation for going along with these things that she now says is, horrible. They sound horrible, but they would have sounded horrible to me in the moment. She was okay going along with it. At least this is all that I'm seeing here. And again, folks, maybe I'm playing a bit of a devil's advocate and being a little bit rough on her, but that's because I think The prosecution is losing ground. The prosecution is not, and I'm not rooting for the prosecution. I'm not rooting for the defense. I'm just here for the creepy details. But I'm also not stupid, and I know human nature. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the game plan is here. Let's see here. Cassie told jurors that videos were used to blackmail her. That's right. She said she was scared that he would release them and then put them out on the internet. In what? Ruin your career? All right. She also told how they met. Cassie said that when she turned 21, Diddy, then her music producer, kissed her at her birthday celebration in Las Vegas. So they were having a 21st birthday celebration for, and Diddy, who at this point had only been an executive in the record company that she was working, Diddy then kissed her at her birthday celebration in Las Vegas. Prosecutor Emily Johnson asked Cassie on the stand. She looked at her and she said, "Did you want to kiss him at your 21st birthday?" To which Cassie said no. First of all, sorry, Diddy, that's got to hurt, right? You know, the love at first sight thing out the window. No, she didn't want to kiss him. What do I extrapolate from that? This is horrible. Because I don't think that's the legit reaction. This is a woman who had sex with multiple escorts for hours and hours. Okay, she's not a shrieking violet who would be like, "A kiss, I can't be forced to kiss a man. I'm too pure." Okay, you're not pure. You're not pure. You're a lovely girl, and I'm glad you had fun in your 20s. I would never hold a woman's sexual liberation against her, especially after she's become a mother. But let's not pretend like you're super pure and that the idea of kissing him on your 21st birthday was just something so traumatic. Because again, I'll remind you, you had sex for 4 days with 6 paid prostitutes. Cassie said she was really confused. This is about the kiss. She says she was really confused and wasn't used to an executive, management, being that way with her. So she ran out of the hotel room and told her best friend, Carrie Morgan, about what had happened. After that party, Diddy, 17 years her senior, invited Cassie to the Trump Hotel in Manhattan. There's always got to get Trump involved. You show me some skanky ass scandal, and I'll tell you, the Trump name's gonna be mentioned somehow, some way. Cassie said she was really confused and wasn't used to an executive hitting on her like that. She ran out, but then Diddy invited her. Diddy invited Cassie to the Trump Hotel in Manhattan, where he introduced her to oral sex. Hey, what? Introduced her to oral sex. All right. So maybe she was a shrieking violet. All right, so you're asking me to believe that 21-year-old Cassie, who works for Bad Boy Records and is one of the stars that they're developing, Cassie, who came through the ranks of, music and modeling and all that kind of stuff. So you're asking me to believe that at 22 years old, it was Sean Diddy Combs was the first guy who... Come on. Are you kidding me? I find that hard to believe. But she testified it right there. It says here, after the party, he invited her to Trump Hotel in Manhattan, where Diddy introduced her to oral sex by performing it on her. When she didn't reciprocate the act, Combs kind of made me feel crazy. Now, that's a you thing. That's a you thing. If you don't want to blow them, you don't blow them. But you don't, kind of make you feel crazy. And by the way, what the fuck? Where did you come from? Some Pennsylvania Amish community? What is going on with Cassie? Seriously. But she said, I was 21 and I just didn't want to kiss him. And then she's like, he introduced me a week later to oral sex. And then within months, you're doing 6 escorts in the Trump honeymoon suite? What is... Good Lord. There's no way. I mean, you've seen Cassie, right? I mean, we know what we're dealing with here. She's a smoke show. There is no way. There is just no way that she is just this complete innocent. Not a chance. Not in the world of New York music, not at Bad Boy Records. Girl like that ain't walking into Bad Boy Records like, I'm a Christian virgin. That is not a thing. When she didn't reciprocate the act, Combs got mad. All right, well, something guys do. Guys do it and then don't get it back. Guys are always going to try and find a way to mind fuck you. You know that's how you get cancer, don't you? Yeah, it's shit like that. Guys, don't put anything. Guys will try anything. When she didn't reciprocate the act, Combs kind of made me feel crazy. I started gaslighting her with stuff, I'm sure. She explained she was new to that kind of sexual relationship and that she was romantically involved with someone else. They all say that. I've got a boyfriend. Your boyfriend is a bartender. This is fucking Diddy, okay? You're a struggling recording. Oh, stop it with your boyfriend. Playing hard to get. She was in. Come on, man. This is not ringing true to my ears. This deer in the headlights, like I say, girl from Amish country who gets off the bus in Times Square with dreams of stardom. This is nonsense. This girl has got to be smarter than what she's letting on. Cassie also told the jury about what we're going to call fix-your-face beatings. Sean Diddy Combs began beating her months into their relationship. He would often precede a beating with something like, fix your face, change your face. If she had a sad look on her face, he would direct her when to smile, how to smile. Fix your face beatings. Cassie told the jury that Sean Diddy Combs would hit her just for looking at him in a certain way that he didn't like. Cassie didn't smile properly or the way he wanted. Or if she was simply appearing in a way that he didn't like, the next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face, she testified. I don't know. I hate this, but getting hit in the face, like black eyes and stuff like that, that stuff leaves a mark, right? She's very public. Did people not notice that, she had black eyes and stuff while, they were together? All right, let's get into the freak-offs now. She described the freak-offs as becoming like a job. Cassie told jurors that she eventually didn't have enough time to nurture her music career because the freak-offs became a full-time job. She said that she was constantly recovering from these sex parties. I bet. Like 4 hours. They put out a whole bunch of new guys. We met Daniel Phillip. He was the sex worker escort who was the first witness to testify about what went on at these freak-offs. So we met Daniel Phillip. Today with Cassie, they laid out 6 more dudes. They identified 6 more escorts that Cassie had sex with during these freak-offs. One of them was known as the Punisher. So yeah, when Cassie talks about how she couldn't be in the studio or tour because she was constantly recovering from these 4-day-long freak-off sex parties where guys like the Punisher. Oh, jeez, man. Holy cow. Oh, my Lord. And just like a week earlier, she had never had oral sex before. Let's see. Here's a quote now from her. She says, "That took a big chunk out of my life," Cassie testified. "There was no space to do anything else but to recover and to try and feel normal again after the freak-offs." She said that she would stay up for days taking drugs, drinking, and having sex with strangers. The longest freak-off ever was 4 days, maybe even more. See, again, this is her testifying that she was on drugs the whole time. And then we had another person from this same camp, the prosecution camp, testified the direct opposite this morning, that she was never on drugs. And in fact, the one time that escort Daniel Phillip saw Cassandra a little bit intoxicated, Diddy stopped. So, he said, she said, I guess. The longest ever was 4 days. We had on and off breaks. Okay. Diddy also, it says here, she testified that Diddy would take away all of my belongings if he disapproved of things that I was doing, she told the court. Asked if there was anything else besides snatching her car keys and kicking her out of her apartment that he would take away, Cassie replied, "My self-confidence." Oh, brother. I roll. Look, I want to be on her side. I really do. Oh, God. Let's see here. Oh, here's a funny story. She did tell this funny story. So apparently during one freak off in LA, it was getting wild. It was like in day 2 of this freak off, and they were taking a break, and they were all laying around in the living room, probably watching TV. I imagine Sports Center. Sports Center's on, right? Some dudes are dressed. Some people are naked. Diddy and anyway, they're taking a break, and in the middle of the freak off, while they're taking a break, Diddy gets a call from some dude that says that Suge Knight is at some burger place that's like down the road, and apparently, Suge and Diddy had beef, so he just left the freak off. Mid freak off, Diddy just left to go confront Suge. She said that in the middle of one of the coerced sex marathons at one of his Los Angeles homes, they were on a break, chilling, when Damon D-Rock Butler came in and told Diddy that Suge Knight, a manslaughter convict and former Death Row Records producer, was at Mel's Drive-In. Diddy quickly packed up and drove down there, Cassandra said. Here's a quote now from her. "I was crying, I was screaming. Please don't do anything stupid," she testified. "I was just really nervous for them, what it meant, what they were going to do to him." Okay, so I don't know, nothing happened apparently. When he got down there, he was gone. But yeah, sometimes you would have to stop a freak off to stand on business. That's what he did. Another weird thing that she told about Diddy today, she described the way that he would, or at least in her estimation, the ways that he would try to mentally manipulate her. Like, for instance, he asked her, he wanted a nickname. He's like, "I want you to call me a nickname. I want you to call me something." And then he asked her, he said, "What did you call your grandfather?" And Cassie responded, "Pop Pop." And from that moment forward, Diddy required her during sex to call him Pop Pop, which is all kinds of weird, all kinds of disturbing. Okay. What else do we have? Or anything else interesting? The first freak off. Okay. They talked about the first freak off. The star prosecution witness, Cassie, said the voyeuristic sex session, which involved her having sex with a Las Vegas male stripper as the rap mogul watched and masturbated. The first one occurred in one of his homes that he was renting in Los Angeles about 2 months after they started dating. The R&B singer, Cassie, told jurors that the drugged up sex sessions, again, she's saying that, the male escort didn't. The drugged up sex sessions that she and Sean Diddy Combs took part in occurred around the country. Here we go. Here are the cities that have been home games for freak-offs. Here we go. Of course, we know about, where is it? Did I lose it? All right, we know about New York. Of course, New York. Miami held freak-offs. Los Angeles held freak-offs. Atlanta held freak-offs. Las Vegas had themselves of course they did. And then, of course, there were a few international freak-offs. One that was held abroad in Spain. Another one at Turks and Caicos. Okay. All right, now let's get into the gross details. All right, now remember, Cassie is 8 months pregnant. Cassie is 8 months pregnant. She's on the stand here. She's telling all of these very sordid and very detailed stories about blah. I mean, that's just the best way I can put it. Just, blah, just like really gross, weird, pervy sex stuff. So here we go. Buckle up, okay? If you don't like really creepy sex details, then go ahead. Get out of here. I'm fine. Trust me, okay? Look, it's going to give you a couple of seconds here before I tell you that everybody was peeing on her. Everybody. She sat there on the witness stand and started talking about how Diddy used to direct these freak-offs, and it was whatever he was into at the moment. And then at one point, she had like these 3 or 4 something, I don't know, bunch of dudes, bunch of male escorts that she had been having sex with for hours and hours and hours. By the way, is this, we're not really hearing any details. These ever go homosexual? I mean, because we heard, and Diddy was into that. I'm not really, it's like 10 hours of sex. 10 hours of sex with like 4 dudes and 1 girl. At some point, these dudes are going to have to like get right. All right, back to the issue at hand. Diddy liked it when dudes peed on her. Ugh. And then he would do, you know what? I'm just going to read it. You don't need to hear it from me. Seriously. I'm just going to give you the way she testified. Diddy would urinate on Cassie himself. Sometimes at the same time, he directed a male prostitute to pee on her during these freak-offs. She testified Tuesday. Sometimes Sean, he himself, or the escort would urinate on me, Cassie said. Sean urinated at the same time. She said that once, when an escort peed into her mouth, oh my God. So I've got a gag reflex. And this is a really bad one. Just the idea of, I mean, it's bad enough it's bad enough being peed on, but being peed on and in, no, mouth involved, no, not cool, Diddy. This is really twisted. This is a level of ownership. This is a level of just complete domination, sexual humiliation. This is unbelievable. Oh my God. Sometimes at the same time that he directed a male to urinate on me, he would also urinate on me in the freak offs. Sometimes Sean himself, blah, blah, blah. Seriously, the details, I can't even read them. She said that once when an escort peed into her mouth during the humiliating encounters, it was overwhelming. Here's what she said on the stand about having a male prostitute pee in her mouth. If I can get through it. Quote now, I choked. Too much urine in my mouth, I said. I laid on a position on the floor that I couldn't easily get out of. God, that's weird. I choked. Too much urine in my mouth, she said. I laid in a position on the floor that I couldn't easily get out. Cassie said she put up her hands to get him to stop urinating on her, but nothing happened, as per Diddy's direction. She said Combs would at times direct her to have sex with multiple male escorts at the same time. Sometimes Sean and the escort would have intercourse with me. It was just like a lot happening at once, she said. Oh, God. Well, that's an understatement, darling. Just like a whole lot happening at once. And by the way, let me mention again, let me bring you back to home base. This woman who is telling these stories here is 8 months pregnant. She's giant and pregnant. And also this woman, while she's telling these stories, her husband, her now husband, the man that she has created children with. I don't want to talk about what the children are now going to have to grow up with. Your mom got peed on. Oh, Joe, my God. What a scene. And also, let's not forget, Diddy's mom, Janice, is still there. Janice Combs is hanging out, listening to all of this stuff. Oh. At what point would so sometimes Sean and the escort would have intercourse with me. It was just like a lot happening at once, she said. At the point that the escorts would ejaculate, or at what point would escorts ejaculate? Prosecutor Emily Johnson asked. All right, so this is this is the prosecution leading her in to tell some really disgusting story. So Emily Johnson, lead prosecutor, asked Cassie on the stand, at what point would escorts ejaculate? To which she said, usually when it was okay for them, per Sean. Like Diddy would make sure that they could hold until he was ready. Usually when it was okay for them, per Sean. But usually when they did it on me. And then Sean and I would go into the next room and he would want me to rub their semen all over his body. Oh my God! Oh boy. Holy shit. Look, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow because we're going to break down all of this stuff with the boys. James Parker from WBAP here in Dallas. Head Crack from Dish Nation. They'll both be with us for tomorrow's edition. Good Lord. She also explained the baby oil. And apparently there was a real need for baby oil. One of the great things that we all were drawn to when they first did the raid on Diddy's 2 homes. was the amount of baby oil. Remember the baby oil? What does he need baby oil for? Well, here's why. During these freak-offs, he would have a child's pool brought into the hotel suite, and they would blow it up like a blow-up child's pool. It would blow it up and fill it with baby oil. Now, I don't know why Diddy just didn't go out and get 50-gallon drums or something, but he would buy individual bottles, whatever. But Cassie explained his addiction to baby oil. Says Diddy once had an entire blow-up pool filled with bottles of baby oil for a hotel freak-off, insisting that the oil be heated and applied every 5 minutes so that his sex show participants would be glistening. When we would run out, we would have to call somebody or ask the front desk at the hotel, give them a big tip so that they could find us a bunch of baby oil. Come on, baby oil's not that important. Oh, boy. All right, folks. You know what? That's pretty much it. I mean, Cassie's, they broke right about that point for the day. And they're gonna come back tomorrow morning. Cassie's going to continue. And we are going to continue here at Radio Misfits. We pledge to you every single night. We're going to give you some form of content. Oh, boy, this is going to be wild. This is only day 2, folks. Day 2. Join us tomorrow. Like, follow, subscribe. You can find me, Pugs Moran. Just Google me, like, follow, subscribe. Or you can go to Radio Misfits, radiomisfits.com. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with a full show. Myself, James Parker from WBAP, and, of course, Headcrack from Dish Nation. Thank you for joining me. And this has been Diddy or Didn't He with me, Pugs Moran, on radiomisfits.com.